June is Pride Month, and it is well underway, and we are digging deeper into the subject of LGBTQ businesses in the tri-state. The organization called Out Leadership ranked all 50 states on the business climate for members of those communities, and it turns out there's no better choice than New York. It's #1, though as you can see, New Jersey and Connecticut appear just as welcoming. 3 of the top 5 in the tri-state, and all 5 are in the Northeast. So how do you even calculate something like this? Well, today I spoke with the founder of Out Leadership, Todd Spears, about that question. So Todd, I want to get to what your organization actually does, but we're interested in the headline here, and that is that New York is the #1 business state for LGBTQ plus workers and entrepreneurs. How is that?
That's absolutely right. So Out Leadership started our LGBTQ Business Climate Index almost 5 years ago. This is the 4th annual report that we've produced. And the idea is that we rank all 50 US states across 20 publicly identifiable data points around health and safety, as well as access to any number of employment opportunities for the LGBTQ community. And as you mentioned, New York is yet again #1 for the 2nd year in a row out of all 50 states.
I'm surprised California, I'm from California, and then I moved here many years ago, but I'm surprised California isn't higher as well.
California is #9 this year, and actually stayed the same from a scoring perspective as they did last year. What we saw this year is that the better states, most of the better states got better. And so to keep your rank going up, you have to continue to improve, and New York continued to do that. We also saw, and you're showing the heat map here, also saw that the worst states in the country continued to get worse for LGBTQ people. So states like Florida and Texas passing anti-trans legislation or the Don't Say Gay law in Florida. And that sort of polarization that we're seeing in so many areas of our country right now is absolutely evidence with what we're seeing at a state level for LGBTQ people.
So let me keep that map up as I ask you this next question.
Sure.
When we see the red states, we see the green states, we see, I guess, the yellow are sort of in the middle. What are the things that you use to judge these things? And do the businesses that might want to do good things for their workers and be diverse and be accepting and have tolerance and all those good things, can they survive in those red states, that on the map anyway?
It's a really great question. So we look at everything, as I mentioned, from legal and non-discrimination protections to youth access to legal protections to the governor and the state legislatures and the federal legislature, the federal senators and congressmen, and all of the things that they are doing at a state level. The reason that we do look at this is because we know that LGBTQ discrimination is fundamentally bad for business. We see talent leaving these anti-LGBTQ states. In fact, 26% of LGBTQ people have left an anti-LGBTQ state in the last 2 years. 36% of LGBTQ people in those same states are considering leaving at the present. And they're willing to give up 25% of their compensation to be in a more welcoming environment. We see that with youth. We see that with kids graduating from college. And so these states are literally, once again, using the LGBTQ community as a wedge issue to drive a political agenda. And they're seeking to solve a problem that doesn't exist, again, on the backs of LGBTQ folks. So the businesses that are doing business in those states, I think, have sort of 2 opportunities. One, we do encourage them to stay because they are economic engines in those states, but then to use the economic power that they have to say that this discrimination is fundamentally bad for their business and bad for their talent.
I don't know how to ask this question. Because you may say, well, that's ridiculous because people live where they live, but they don't live where they live, at least not in modern day America. People move to cities, and especially if you're gay or lesbian, you're going to move there because you're more welcomed. You're not going to want to stay if you have a choice about this. Am I correct?
You're dead on. And post-COVID, the world has changed. People do not have to live in the states where their companies operate any longer.
Right, that's a good point.
And so the freedom of mobility people have is absolutely going to change the equation from where it was pre-COVID.
When I started in the news business, the men and women who were gay kept it very quiet. And I grew up in the beauty supply business. My parents had a beauty supply store, and we serviced beauty salons. And so I grew up with a lot of gay men who were hairdressers. And you were either way in the closet or way out of the closet back then in the late 60s and early 70s. And when I got in the news business, there were a lot of closeted guys especially who just never talked about it. And when gay liberation happened way back when, they were liberated. And I know that it's different now because the older gay guys in the news business look with fondness at how the liberation has had an effect on the younger gay and lesbian people because they can be themselves. I have a daughter who's almost 30, and when she was 16, she came out of the closet, and she was so lucky to have parents who accepted that, embraced her, said, what makes you happy? Let's just move ahead with your life because you're going to do great things in your life. Parents have changed the world and changed the dynamics, and I dare say, as I continue on this, I would say that science and being able to have babies with science has changed the way parents view their same-sex marriage kids.
Absolutely, and thank you for sharing that about your daughter, and congratulations to her for having a supportive family.
She's getting married next year.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Yes,
that's
very
amazing.
Exciting. Very excited. So how do you feel about all this and this dynamic change that has happened?
Huge, 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 huge. Well, if you think about the baby boomers, right, when they were coming out of the closet, you mentioned 60s and 70s, being gay was still considered a psychological disorder in the United States until 1978. Right. So the climate under which those people came out and came into the workforce was not supportive, to say the least. And those who were in sort of quote unquote stereotypical industries, you mentioned hairdressers, et cetera, those were really the only visible folks. We didn't have representation in media. I was coming out in the 90s. The only people that I saw who were gay and lesbian were stereotypical, like, as you mentioned, sort of in industries like the arts or hairdressing, et cetera, or dying of HIV and AIDS. Those are the two things. You didn't see gay CEOs. You didn't see gay bankers, gay lawyers, gay leaders in the way that we did now from, Mayor Pete all the way through to any of the leaders like Tim Cook. So we've seen a sea change, but I will say that roughly from our research, 52% of employees in the United States are still in the closet. Wow. Of those, about 86% of them cover an aspect of their identity in the workforce because it is still not safe in all 50 states to be LGBTQ. 60% of young leaders coming out of college, actually who are out in college, and the average age of coming out now is 12, 60% of those young leaders go back in the closet for their first job out of college because they still don't think it's supportive and safe in those environments. So we have made massive shifts, but we still have a long way to go.
The point being, of course, Todd, is that we have a long way to go, and we're going to repeat that. I should say also, as we look one last time at that map, not the map, at the chart of the top states, 3 of the top 5 are in the tri-state of the United States: New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York, and for good reason. I think it's a more accepting population. And thank you for putting all this out in the public specter so we can see it and really learn from it. And congratulations on the work you're doing and the work you still have to do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.